Hello dear friends. Today we are going to study about 4-bit synchronous counter. Previously we have studied about asynchronous counter, 3-bit asynchronous counter, which is also known as ripple counter. And we have studied about 4-bit ripple counter or asynchronous counter. Whatever drawback you have experienced in the asynchronous counter, that can be overcome in a synchronous counter. What was the drawback in asynchronous counter? There are two things was there. Settling time of asynchronous counter was very large because you know that each flip-flop delay time is going to be additive and total settling time is equal to number of flip-flops multiplied by propagation delay time of each flip-flop, and hence the speed of operation of asynchronous counter was slower. Second disadvantage of asynchronous counter was this: you produce unwanted signal, or it is called glitches. Because of these glitches, although the size of the glitches is very narrow, only few nanoseconds will be there, but when the output of the counter is given or output of decoding gates are given to another triggering circuit in TTL circuits, TTL are very fast and response even the smallest appearing glitches and false triggering is going to be possible. Both this disadvantage can be removed or it can be overcome in a synchronous counter. And we have studied in lecture number 3, 3-bit synchronous counter using the steering logic. What is 3-bit synchronous counter? There are 3 flip-flops were utilized. And clock was given in synchronism to all the flip-flop simultaneously. That means all the flip-flop are going to be toggled with negative edge of the clock pulse in synchronism, and hence there is no different propagation delay time of different flip-flops, and hence the glitches were removed. That is the advantage of synchronous counter. Second thing, very important things, speed of operation, because that settling time is equal to the propagation delay time of one flip-flop only, even though number of flip-flops are going to be utilized. That may be a 3-bit, 4-bit, 6-bit or whatever it is. But the settling time is only a one flip-flop propagation delay time. That is the advantage of synchronous counter. And we have seen last lecture also that how the glitches were removed in synchronous counter. Now, 4-bit synchronous counter we are going to study. And not only the 4-bit synchronous counter, but we'll study that how this 4-bit synchronous counter can be operated in up counting mode also as well as in down counting mode also. Both the way this flip-flop can be utilized. We'll see in the circuit that there will be OR gate and there are two inputs of the OR gate, either count up mode or it is operating in a count down mode. So if you want to operate this counter in a count up mode, then the system clock should be applied at that input and vice versa. So that way we are going to study here the 4-bit synchronous counter which is working in up down mode. That means it can work in a up mode also as well as in down mode also. A parallel up down counter can be constructed in a fashion similar to that shown in the figure 10.12. We'll see that circuit. In any parallel counter, the time at which any flip-flop changes the state is determined by the state of all previous flip-flop in the counter. What does it mean? That means if you want to see that when the flip-flop output is going to be toggled or it is going to be changed, it depends upon the output of all the previous flip-flops. Output of all the previous flip-flops are in one state or it is in a zero state. Depending upon the flip-flop, next flip-flop will change the state. In the count up mode, a flip-flop must toggle every time all previous flip-flop are in one state and the clocks makes the transition. That means when you are operating the counter in a count up mode, and you want to see that because the clock is available to all the flip-flop together simultaneously, but it will look for the previous flip-flops, that okay, all the previous flip-flop output are in state 1, that means they are going to be in high state. Then and then only the next negative edge of the clock pulse hit that flip-flop, and that flip-flop is going to be toggle because that J and K inputs are connected with the VCC. If you want to operate in a countdown mode, then the flip-flop will look that what is the output of the previous flip-flop. Output of the previous flip-flop, if they are in the low state, that means if they are going to be in zero state, then and then only next negative edge of the clock pulse, the flip-flop is going to be toggle. So in a countdown mode, flip-flop toggle must occur when all prior flip-flops are in a zero state. The counter in figure 10.12 is a synchronous 4-bit up-down counter. To operate in a count up mode, the system clock is applied at the count up input, while count down input is held low. That we are going to see in the circuit that in OR gate there are two inputs. One input is count up, another input is count down. So if you want to operate this flip-flop in a OR counter in a count up mode, then the system clock should be applied at count up input, and another input, that is count down input, should be held in a low state. Vice versa, if you want to operate this counter in a countdown mode, that means in a decrement conditions, then the system clock should be applied at countdown input, and count up input should be held low, or it should be connected with the 0. You see this circuit. Here in a 3-bit counter, there was 3 flip-flops was utilized. In a 4-bit counter, there are 4 output A, B, C and D. That means 4 JK flip-flops are going to be utilized. Here it is not mentioned, but all the J and K inputs of flip-flop A, B, C and D, which are connected with the VCC. You can see that it is written here not. All J and K inputs are tied to the VCC. So these flip-flops are utilized only in one mode, that is in toggle mode conditions. So when the negative edge, here also you can see that at the clock input there is a bubble and triangle is mentioned. It means that all these JK flip-flops are operating in negative edge trigger. That means when the negative edge of the clock pulse hit the flip-flop, flip-flops are going to be toggle. Now here there is a AND OR networks are also going to be utilized. X1, Y1 is the AND gate and Z1 is going to be OR gate. You see here X1, which is having a 2 input A, and 1 input is a clock input. So clock is passing through the AND gate, or clock is passing through the AND gate Y1. So X1 and Y1 are AND gate, Z1 is going to be OR gate. One of the input is either coming from the true side of the previous flip-flop, or it is going to be false side of the previous flip-flop, or A bar is connected to the Y1. So now see, similarly when flip-flop B, it is a 3 input AND gate X2, 3 input AND gate Y2, and 2 input Z2 is OR gate, and the clock is available through this OR gate to the flip-flop C and Z3 to the flip-flop D. Here X3 and Y3, they are the 4 input AND gates are there. The 3 inputs are ABC connected here, and or A bar, B bar, C bar connected to the Y3 AND gate. Now see, here the system clock is applied at a count up mode. Now what happens? System clock, either you provide at count up input or count down input Because this is going to be OR gate, it will be available to the first flip-flop A. So the first flip-flop A is going to be toggle every time there is a negative edge of the clock pulse will be there, which you can see in the waveforms. So figure B is count up waveforms are shown here. You see that this is the clock waveforms 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. etc. This is the clock waveforms with the timeline. This is the output of A waveforms. This is the output of B waveform, output of the C waveforms, and output of the D waveforms. When the output of A is going to be toggle or it is going to be changed, whenever clocks makes a negative transition. That means when the clocks makes I to low, A is going to be toggle. Toggle means complemented. If it is low, it is going to be in high state. When it is high, it is going to be low state. So next negative edge of the clock pulse, again it is going to be low. Third negative edge of the clock pulse, again it is going to be high. Fourth negative edge, it is going to be low. So every negative edge of the clock pulse, flip-flop A is going to be toggle, because directly it is getting clock pulses. Now, when B is getting the clock pulse, if you see that when A is going to be high, because this AND gate is there. So when A is going to be high, AND gate X1 is going to be enabled, and the clock pulse which is available from count up line, which is passing through the gate X1 and it is passing through the gate Z1, because Z1 is a OR gate and it is available to the flip-flop B. So whenever A is going to be high and the clock pulse is going to be available, the flip-flop B is going to be toggle on negative edge of the clock pulse. I'll show you in that waveform. You see that this is the waveform B is going to be there. So prior to this first negative edge of the clock pulse, and prior to that one, A is low. So gate was disabled, and this clock is not available to the flip-flop. But prior to this second clock pulse, A is already high. That means X1 gate is going to be high. X1 gate, one of the input is high and it is enabled. So second clock pulse will be passed through this gate and it is passed through the OR gate and it is available to the flip-flop B. And on the negative edge of the clock pulse, the flip-flop B is going to be toggle here. Prior to the third negative edge of the clock pulse, A is low. So again, X1 is disabled. That third clock is not passing through X1 or Z1 and it is not available to flip-flop B, and flip-flop B is not changing the state, it remains into the previous state. But prior to the clock pulse fourth, again A is going to be high, so flip-flop X1 is going to be enabled and flip-flop B is going to be toggle. So every second clock pulse here, on a second clock pulse, on a fourth clock pulse, on a sixth clock pulse, on an eighth clock pulse, on a 10th clock pulse, on a 12th clock pulse, on a 14th clock pulse, and on a 16th clock pulse, like this, the flip-flop B is going to be toggle. Now, what is the arrangement for the C waveforms that you can see here? Here we are utilizing 3 input X2 gate, AND gate. Here A and B is the 2 inputs and system clock is the third inputs. So when the clock pulse will pass through the X2, only when A and B both are going to be high, then and then only clock pulse can pass through the X2. So you can see that for a first clock pulse, either A is going to be low or B is going to be low. Second clock pulse also, A is high but B is low. Third clock pulse, A is low, B is high. So the gate was disabled. But as soon as prior to the fourth clock pulse, A is also high and B is also high. So this fourth clock pulse can pass through the gate X2 and it is available to the flip-flop C. And on the negative edge of the clock pulse, the flip-flop C is going to be toggle. So on the fourth clock pulse, flip-flop C is going to be toggle. Until that, flip-flop C remains in a previous state That means it was reset and remain reset. Again, you can see that what happens as soon as A and B is going to be high. A and B is going to be high, again the X2 is going to be enabled and the 8th clock pulse will pass through these flip-flops. On 8th clock pulse, that is this clock pulse, on a negative edge of this one, A and B is going to be high. So this clock pulse is going to be available to the flip-flop C and the flip-flop C is going to be toggled. Now again, you can see that for a 9th clock pulse, 10th clock pulse, 11th clock pulse, prior to that, either A is low or B is low. So X3 is going to be disabled, or sorry, X2 is going to be disabled and the clock pulse is not passing. But as soon as 12th clock pulse is coming, prior to that, A and B is going to be high. So 12th clock pulse is passing through the X2 and Z2 available to the flip-flop C and the flip-flop C is going to be toggled. On a 16 also it is going to be toggling. So on every negative edge, fourth negative edge of the clock pulse, flip-flop C is going to be toggled. Now you can see between C and D, again there is the AND OR network is connected. This AND gate is having 4 input A, B and C, and 1 input is a system clock input is going to be there. So either if A is high, B is high, C is high, then and then only this AND gate is enabled, X3 is enabled and the clock pulse will pass through X3 and Z3 available to the flip-flop D, and because its J and K is connected to the VCC, this flip-flop D is going to be toggled when this clock pulse negative edge is going to be available. What is happening? You can see here in the waveform. Prior to this 8 waveforms, either A is low or B is low or C is low or one of them is going to be low and it is going to be disabled. But after 7th clock pulse, A is high, B is high and C is high. That means after the 7th clock pulse, the X3 gate is going to be enabled and negative edge is going to be available. So this 8 clock pulse is available to the flip-flop D, and on the negative edge of this clock pulse, the flip-flop D is going to be toggled. Again, this is going to be happen prior to the 15 clock pulse, 16 clock pulse. That means A is high, B is high, and C is high. So on the next negative edge of the clock pulse, that means on the 16 negative edge of the clock pulse, flip-flop D is going to be toggled. So it is going from high to low. And that way, this is working as a modulus of 16 counter. If you see what is the output of this counter, this is A, B, C and D. D is the MSB and A is going to be LSB. So the output is D, C, B, A. That way you can consider 0, 0, 0, 0. Then the next negative edge of the clock pulse, first count 0, 0, 0, 1. Next clock pulse, what will be the output? 0, 0, 1, 0. Next negative edge of the clock pulse, what will be the output? 0, 0, 1, 1. Then 0, 1, 0, 0. Then 0, 1, 0, 1. Then 0, 1, 1, 0. Then 0, 1, 1, 0, 1. Then state number 8, that is 1, 0, 0, 0. State number 9, 1, 0, 0, 1. State number 10, 1, 0, 1, 0. 11, 1, 0, 1, 1. 12, 1, 1, 0, 0. 13, 1, 1, 0, 1. 14, 1, 1, 1, 0. And 15, 1, 1, 1, 1. And the next negative edge of the clock pulse 0, 0, 0, 0. That means it is going to be reset. So this way that you can write down the truth tables. holding the countdown input low at ground will disable AND gate Y1, Y2 and Y3. The clock applied at count up will then go directly into the flip-flop A and will be steered into the other flip-flop by AND gate X1, X2, X3, what I have explained. This counter will then function exactly as the previously discussed parallel counter shown in figure 10.10. The only difference here is that this is modus of 16 counter, that is advancing one count with each clock negative transition, beginning with the 0000 to ending with 1111. So there are 16 discrete states from 000 to 1111, and hence it is called modus of 16 counter. If the count up line is held low and upper AND gate X1, X2, X3 are disabled, clock applied at the input countdown will go directly into the flip-flop A and will steer the following flip-flop by AND gates Y1, Y2 and Y3. Flip-flop A will toggle each time there is a clock negative transition as shown in the figure 10.12c. Each time A bar is high, AND gate Y1 will be enabled and clock negative transition will toggle the flip-flop B at A, C, E, G and so on. You can see the same thing in this circuit diagram. So when you want to operate this flip-flop in a countdown mode, what you have to do? Count up input is connected with the ground, or it should be connected with 0, and the system clock should be applied to the countdown input. Again, I just told you that there is no other gates are going to be utilized except the OR gate. So the flip-flop A is getting every time negative edge of the clock pulse. So the waveform in a countdown, you can see here. Again, the same thing is happening. Same kind of waveform of A is going to be available. In either it is going to be in count up mode or it is in a countdown mode. The flip-flop A is going to be toggled with every negative edge of each clock pulses. So at the start time A, also A is going to be toggled. At the start time B also it is going to be toggled. At the start time C also it is going to be toggled. At the start time D also it is going to be toggled. So from A to Q, every time negative edge of the clock pulse, when it hit the flip-flop A, the flip-flop A is going to be toggled. Either it is going to be in count up mode or it is in a countdown mode. When flip-flop B is going to be toggled, that is important here. Now, when A is going to be low, A bar is going to be high. We know that when A is going to be low, A bar is going to be high. Count up line is already ground. So the clock pulse cannot pass from X1, X2, X3. X1, X2 and X3, they are going to be disabled. Only way the clock pulse can pass through Y1, Y2 and Y3, because this gate can be enabled, because clock pulse can steer through either Y1 to the flip-flop B, Y2 to the flip-flop C and Y3 to the flip-flop D. Let us see how. So whenever A is going to be low, A bar is going to be high. So whenever A bar is going to be high, that means whenever A is going to be low, the clock pulse will pass through the X1 and it is passed through the Z1 and it will be available to the flip-flop B. So on the negative edge of the flip-flop B, clock pulse, the flip-flop B is going to be toggled. Same thing happened when A is low, B is low, then A bar is going to be high, B bar is going to be high, Y2 is going to be enabled and it is ready to pass the second clock pulse to this one, and it is passing through the Z2 because it is simply OR gate and it is available to the flip-flop C. So the flip-flop C is going to be toggled on whenever A is low, B is low and next negative edge of the clock pulse is hit the flip-flop C. So you can see in here waveforms. When A is low, B is low, A bar is going to be high, B bar is going to be high. And that means this negative edge of the clock pulse, that means A bar, at point instead of time A, the flip-flop B is going to be toggle. Again, when it is going to be happening, A is going to be low, then at the instead of time C, next negative edge of the clock pulse, B is going to be toggle. So whenever A is going to be low and next negative edge of the clock pulse is there, then the flip-flop is going to be toggle. The same kind of waveform you can see for the C flip-flops. Whenever A is low, B is going to be low, then next negative edge of the clock pulse, the flip-flop C is going to be toggle. Again, here prior to the E instant of time, when A is low, B is low, next negative edge of the clock pulse, the flip-flop C is going to be toggle. Again here, prior to the I, A is low, B is low. So at the stop time I, when the next negative edge of the clock pulse hit the flip-flop C, the flip-flop C is going to be toggle. Again, at this stop time, this prior to the M, A is low, B is low. So at the stop time M, the flip-flop C is going to be toggle. Again, it is going to be toggle at Q. So this kind of waveforms we are going to obtain in countdown mode when it is operating in a countdown mode. Now, when the flip-flop C is going to be toggle, if A is low, B is low, C is low, then Y3 is going to be enabled and clock pulse will pass through the Y3 and it is available to the flip-flop D. So, next negative of the clock pulse, that means at the stop time A, D is going to be toggle. Again, this is going to be happening here. A is low, B is low, C is low. That means A bar is going to be high, B bar is going to be high, C bar is going to be high. So the flip-flop D is going to be toggle at I. And same thing is going to be happen at Q. Now, if you prepare a truth table from here, prior to A, all the outputs are going to be reset. That means D is going to be 0, C is going to be 0, B is going to be 0, and A is going to be 0. That is a 0 count. Now, after first clock pulse is going to be occur. D is going to be MSB and A is going to be LSB. So, you can see from the waveforms, you can prepare a truth table. And what truth table say? D is going to be 1, C is going to be 1, B is going to be 1, and A is going to be 1. After instead of time B, that means next clock pulse, D is going to be 1, C is going to be 1, B is going to be 1, A is going to be 0. Next negative edge of the clock pulse, D is going to be 1, C is going to be 1, B is going to be 0, and A is going to be 1. Next negative edge of the clock pulse, D is going to be 1, C is going to be 1, B is going to be 0, and A is going to be 0, that is 12. Next negative of the clock pulse, 1, 0, 1, 1, 11. Next negative of the clock pulse, 1, 0, 1, 0, 10. That means every negative edge of the clock pulse contain of the counter is decremented, and this way this is working in a countdown mode. And this waveform, from this waveform we can prepare a truth table. Now, here we have seen that the clock applied at input countdown will go directly into the flip-flop A and will steer into the following flip-flops by AND gate Y1, Y2 and Y3. Flip-flop A will toggle each time there is a clock negative transition as shown in the figure 10.12c. Each time A bar is high, AND gate Y1 will be enabled and clock negative transition will toggle the flip-flop B at the point A, C, E, G and so on. Whenever both A bar and B bar are high, that means A and B is going to be low, AND gate Y2 is enabled and thus a clock will be steered into the flip-flop C at point A, E, I, M and Q. Similarly, AND gate Y3 will be steered a clock into the flip-flop D only when A bar, B bar and C bar are all high. That means A, B and C are low. Then and then only clock will steer to the flip-flop D. Thus, the flip-flop D will toggle at points A and I on the timeline Q on the timeline. The waveform in figure 10.12c clearly shows that the counter is operating in a countdown mode, progressing one count at a time from 1111 to 0000. If you examine the logic diagram for the IC 5474193 TTL circuit shown in figure 10.13, you will see that it uses a steering logic just like the counter in figure 10.12. So whatever we have studied, 4-bit synchronous up-down counter, either it is up-down counter, and this waveform etc. which can be performed, which we have studied in with a JK flip-flop, which can be available in a TTL IC, and that TTL IC is either 54 series or 74 series 193 ICs there. And now that IC is also utilizing same steering logic what we have studied. This MSI circuit is synchronous 4-bit up-down counter that can be also be cleared and preset to any desired count. So this particular IC as having both the functions. That means this IC can be cleared. That means it can be all the outputs are going to be reset 0000 by operating clear input. All the outputs of DCBA is going to be reset, or it is going to be clear 000, or you can preset this IC to any start from any desired count. That is called presetting this counter. That we'll see with the IC diagrams. MSI means medium scale integration. So this IC internally connected with so many gates etc. is utilized to prepare this IC. You see this IC diagram, pin diagrams. This IC is 16-pin IC, and from the top side, if you can see that on the bottom, from the left hand side, the first pin, this pin is designated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. As usual, pin number 16 is connected with the VCC, and pin number 8 is connected with the ground. This IC is normally operating with +5 regulated power supply because this is TTL IC, remember. Now, here there are certain pins for the data inputs. Pin number 1 is data input B is there. Then pin number 9 and 10 is also data input C and B. Pin number 15 is a data input A. What is this data input? Actually, this is a very important application of this IC. You can preset this IC. That means if you want to start counter from any desired count, accordingly you have to give the data at this data input A, B, C, D. If you want to start this counter from the state number 5, state number 5, what is the binary? D is going to be 0, C is going to be 1, B is going to be 0 and A is going to be 1. So this kind of data you have to apply to their data pins. That means D should be 0, this pin D should be connected with the 0, C should be connected 1, A should be connected 0 and B should be connected 0. And then the load input is very important here. This pin is the load input. What is this load input? Bubble is shown here. That means this load input, this data is going to be loaded into the flip-flop when this input is going to be activated. It is active low. So when this input is made low, load input is made low, this data, state number 5, 0, 1, 0, 1, which you have applied at DCBA, that is going to be transferred to the output of the counter. What are the output of the counter? QD, QC, QB and QA. These are the output of the counter. Pin number 6, pin number 7, pin number 2 and pin number 3, they are the output of the counter. So this data will be transferred from input to the output side, and the counter is starting its counting from this state only, state number 5. Then after, if it is working in count up mode or it is working in a count down mode. If it is working in a count up mode, it will start from the state number 5, then it will go to the state number 6, 7, etc., and it is progressing like that. But if it is operating in a countdown mode, then from the state number 5, next clock pulse, it will go to the state number 4, then state number 3, and like that way. So this way, the counter can be preset from any count, and then it can operate either in a count up mode or it is operating in a countdown mode. Pin number 4 and 5. With age, you can see that here it is given 4 and 5. So when you are operating counter in count up mode, that means the clock pulse system clock should be applied at pin number 5. And negative edge of the clock pulse, the flip-flop is going to be toggle. But here the bubble is absent. It means that this counter is toggling on positive edge of the clock pulse, because inside the IC, prior the clock pulse available to the flip-flop, that is going to be inverted because there is a NOT gate is going to be present inside the IC. So actually the flip-flops are going to be triggered with the negative edge, but it is available negative edge from positive edge of the external system clock. So from on a positive edge of the system clock, the flip-flops are going to be toggle. So that is shown by only arrow without bubble. Here you can see that. So system clock, if you want to operate in a count up mode, it should be given to the pin number 5, and if you want to operate in a countdown mode, then it should be given to the pin number 4. What is this means? Clear. Clear is nothing, is no bubble, nothing is there. It means that when you activate this clear input, or when the clear input is going to be high, irrespective to all other controls, all outputs are going to be cleared. That means 0, 0, 0, 0. QD is going to be 0, QC is going to be 0, QB is going to be 0, and QA is going to be 0. So that means the flip-flops are going to be reset. That is the usefulness of this clear input. Then there are two another pin, 12 and 13. These pins are with the bubbles it is shown. 12 number is a carry and 13 number, that is a borrow. So when the counter progress from 0, 0, 0 to 1, 1, 1, 1 conditions in a count up mode, after 1, 1, 1, next clock pulse is there. After 16 clock pulse, the counter is going to be again reset to 0, 0, 0, and there is a carry is going to be available into the 5th column, and that is going to be available at carry out. So output of this one is going to be changing from high to low, which can be connected to higher cascade mode counters. Similarly, when the counter is operating in countdown mode, the borrow input is going to be activated, and from you can see that 0, 0, 0 to 1, 1, 1 condition is going to be there. The next flip-flop is going to be borrowed. So that way, when it is operating in countdown mode, borrow output is important, or when it is operating in count up mode, the carry input is going to be important. For now, you should carefully examine the steering logic for each flip-flop and study the OR gate and 2 AND gate at the input of the OR gate used to provide the clock to each flip-flop. The waveform for the 54741933 are exactly the same as those shown in figure 10.12, except this flip-flop output changes the state when clock makes a low to high transition, because internally they are going to be inverted. Note carefully that external clock applied at either the count up or the count down input passes through an inverter before being applied to the AND OR logic of each flip-flop clock input internally inside the IC. Thank you very much.